to miniaturize it at 30% smaller than the smallest electric propulsion that's available in market. I think this is what I got to offer. We need to offer uniqueness and at high quality, high technology and deep tech solutions. So if we don't do that, then we have to compete with all the other nations that already have been the space superpowers in the world. It's quite hard for us to get that niche market. So in terms of the mission, at the moment, we are totally focusing on 3 areas in space technology. Number 1 is our re-entry vehicle, or we call it the orbiting lab in space. So biotech companies can utilize that. So we are selling our solutions for $1.5 million per vehicle for re-entry. So we have gotten interest from not just from the Dutch company that we have signed contract on in Paris, France. We also have gotten request orders from the French space agency known as CNES, and also the Italian space agency known as ASI. So there's a lot of opportunities out there looking for low to medium cost solutions, which we provide. And the good thing is a lot of our technology also use natural products like local agriculture fibers on board our vehicle to withstand the re-entry heat. So those are some of the examples that we use local products to do heat insulation. So that's one area. Another area would be the satellite. Currently, we are not only providing free broadband services from space. The customer only need to buy the terminals. That's one off. There's also software subscription for analytics. That's a service. But in terms of the signal, it's free for use. They only need to book in advance to which later will announce. We also provide launch services with the satellite. So it will cost the satellite per Gerhana on the planet and roughly cost you about $25,000 for launching alone, not inclusive the satellite. In our case, $10,000 satellite and launch. So that's what we are offering. We have gotten about 520 orders from Europe, namely Belgium and Italy. So this is something that we are looking forward. Even Malaysian companies, universities, government organizations, if they want to do some test bed in space, communicate, put some miniature sensor, they could actually talk to us. It's the cheapest in the world. We are launching our upcoming satellites in August next year. We'll be launching 15 of our own, 5 from Italy. So yeah, we are going to give the world's low-cost solution for launching smaller satellites. And then lastly, the third one, what we are currently working on is the rocket launch vehicle known as the DNLV, stands for Dedicated Nano Launch Vehicle. So that would be launching up to 200 kilograms of payload, which are the satellites, into low Earth orbit, and it will be operational within 5 years from now. So I think that's something that we are looking forward and we'll be proud of it because it's using a green propellant, which is taken from biogas. So it's liquid oxygen and liquid methane, so known as metal-ox engine. So that will be the world's first net zero carbon rocket. Other than that, I think these are the main activities that we are currently working on.
Okay, thank you, Izmir, for sharing. Okay, and we reached to the final question. So this is the last question. Okay, what is your advice to the youth and people out there who would like to embark in a career in aerospace tech?
I think one of the advice, or maybe I would recommend recommendation. So I would recommend first of all, look into the areas that matters to you the most, because aerospace career is very challenging. If it doesn't matter to you, then you might would fall into the category of people who give up easily, because it is definitely tough. So find an area, because aerospace is huge. If I may break it down, aerospace consists of two large, totally different industries. One is aeronautics, with regards to all the flying objects within the atmosphere, like airplanes, helicopters, balloons. These are all aeronautics. And then another branch of aerospace, which is called the astronautics. Anything that's above the 100 kilometers mark. You're talking about satellites, re-entry vehicle, rockets, interplanetary spacecrafts. So these are all astronautics. So first, know that domain, because the two domains are totally different. It's apple to orange. If people are interested in space, they can look into a lot of areas, mainly electronics, which will be very close to satellites. Within the electronic field, you have communications, you have control systems, and all these other things. And then next, you have things like propulsion, rocket technology. So you're talking about the transportation of the space vehicle. Rocket also are also used on board the satellite for station keeping, so that they can correct their orbital path every now and then, or do collision avoidance in space. So that's the propulsion bit. So there are so many different elements that people can look at. And another element that oftentimes were not touched upon is the ground station services. So you're talking about mission control operators, setting up ground antenna dish, receiving dish systems, which in Malaysia, I think we have a couple of locations, Langkawi, Cyberjaya, Temerloh, and Banting. So those are all ground station sites. So I think for the aviation, of course, drones falls under aviation, other than all these aircrafts. So I think first know which area which one matters to you. Like for me personally, what matters to me is having that access to space, because that access to space can mean a lot of things. Once we are having the access to space, we can bring down the cost of putting satellites in orbit. So rather than we outsource the service to overseas, which is outflow of currency, we can actually have it locally to at least cater for the local use or regional use. But if the demand is there, we definitely open for global customers as well, which is what we're currently doing. So I think space access really matters to us, because the downright effect can spin off directly to agriculture, to resources on the ground, better management, and so on. So one of the key areas that we're looking at applying is called precision farming. So that's why having the access to space is important to us, because we can put in those respective satellites. Okay, so the most important thing is, once you know your area, then work on it. If it's to be science, it can be arts, can be management, can be business, because the aerospace industry caters for everyone. So anyone can be any part within the aerospace industries. So I wouldn't just go ahead and recommend just be good at math and science, because it's really a huge industry. So I would just say be good at what you like to do, and you will be entering into this industry.
Okay, thank you so much for your advice. Yeah, Izmir. Okay, so before we end the show, before we end Inspiring Series Video Podcast, do you have anything else that you would like to share with our viewers?
Okay. So I would like to share about our upcoming launch. So that will be in December next year. So it will be Malaysia's first spacecraft that we are exporting outside Malaysia, and it will be flown by a Canadian rocket. So the spacecraft will be made in Malaysia. That will be launched into low Earth orbit to conduct its first maiden flight. So we won't have any experiments yet because it's a maiden flight. But what makes us all proud is the first Malaysian vehicle that is going to outer space, fully designed and developed here in Malaysia. So I think that's something that everyone is looking forward. If that happens, it opens a whole new door for spacecraft manufacturing right here in Malaysia, which can open up opportunities to provide high-paying jobs, high-tech jobs, and more opportunities for the country. So I think last message is if you want to do something in life, just don't stop there. Keep on moving, make it happen.
Go for it. Go for it.
Go
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah. Sky's the limit, and take risks. Because if you don't
Yes,
take
yes.
risks, if you never try, you never know. You just have to give it a shot.
Yes, yes. I think for the space entrepreneurs who's coming out front in the future, we have to upgrade the phrase "sky's the limit" because we are flying above the skies. So I think space. I mean, there's no limit in space, right? So yeah, just go beyond infinity and beyond.
Infinity and
Similar
beyond.
to yeah.
Infinity and beyond.
Infinity and beyond, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yep.
we have come to the end of the show. And for those of you who would like to connect and speak with Izmir, so you can connect with him on LinkedIn and you can follow him on his LinkedIn profile. Just connect with him on LinkedIn at Izmir Yamin, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's good to network, and not just in Malaysia, any parts of the world that you're from, you're welcome to connect and network, because that is what LinkedIn is all about, for us to connect and network with people, right, Izmir? Yeah,
Yes.
and you know, if there's any speaking engagement, if you would like to invite Izmir to speak about aerospace tech, aerospace tech, right? And if you want to invite him as a speaker, you can DM him and message him on LinkedIn.
Thank you. Thank you, Faisha.
Okay, thank you, Izmir. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.